So I was talking to my community in Discord about the pressures of cosplay, that last video I did, and one of the things that they specifically began conversating about, like I was sitting here recording that other video, and between clips I was reading their conversation in my YouTube channel on there, and there was a discussion about not being skinny enough to cosplay. The stigma that bigger people don't look good in costumes or shouldn't feel good in costumes or photographers don't want to take their photos. Bada 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 ba. And this is a very real thing. And I know the body positivity movement has come a long way, and I think that's wonderful. We still got a long way to go though. And I don't think we can ever talk too much about that specific pressure we put on people within our community. And I think there's space for us to talk about how we've all contributed to that in some way or another. The narrative is that it's easier to become more popular. You do better online if you are thinner. And I've seen a lot of people, not in my Discord, but just in general, like disagree with this. And that's your right to disagree with it. But I wanted to talk about my experience with this and just say that I firmly know, not believe, I was going to say I firmly believe, but I know that this has happened, does happen, continues to happen, and continues to be an issue. And here's why. I did a video about my history with like 80s, but my weight has been an issue my whole life, right? My weight has been up and down. I've had thyroid problems. Now I've had thyroid problems on both ends of the spectrum. For a time in my life, it was very slow and I gained a ton of weight. And now they're saying my thyroid's really fast, and that's why I can only sleep like 4 hours a night and I'm extra vroom, vroom, vroom. Body issues. This is a big part of my life. I've been to therapy for body dysmorphia. I mean, I've been very open about it, but I struggle like a mofo with body issues. It's just a part of who I am at this point in my life. It's something I deal with every day and I work through every day. And anyway, so TLDR, as best as Sophie can. I first got into cosplay originally, I was at about 125 pounds. I was very small. And then over the next few years, I started putting on some weight regarding my thyroid. I was drinking like 1 billion full sugar energy drinks a day. I was just gaining weight and I wasn't healthy. I'm not talking about looks. Health-wise, I was like not doing good, right? Like at all. And then right as like that weight gain sort of started is when I started getting into cosplay professionally. So when I started getting into cosplay professionally, I was still pretty small. And then the second and like third years, I really started gaining weight. And I'm very blessed for my cosplay journey. I was doing well, I was doing the thing. But I was always insecure. People would make comments on my stuff all the time. And that's still kind of hard for me to like address. Like it's hard for me to my body issues are so much that it's hard for me to be honest or not honest, but open about having ever gained weight. And that probably sounds awful, and I'm aware of that, and that's something that I'm working on. But that's how bad my body image has always been, right? Is that like me gaining any kind of weight is like the wildest trigger. But at this point in my life, I wasn't paying attention to it. I knew I wasn't super healthy, but I was doing my thing. I was having fun. People would call me fat online, talk about my weight and my body. And obviously that started to have a really drastic effect on my mental health. My physical health wasn't great because I was just eating like fucking garbage. And then my mental health was messed up because people are saying all these things, and I would see photos that really triggered me, and I felt awful in my costumes, and some of my costumes didn't fit anymore that I had made or bought, and it was a bad time. I was real spirally, right? Well, then for my health, it wasn't so much related to weight, but just getting healthier, because again, I was in a real bad place health-wise. I started keto, so I've been on the keto diet for a long time now. I'm not going to go into that. That's my personal lifestyle choice. And then besides the fact that I got so much healthier that I got off my thyroid medicine, all kinds of stuff in my life improved because my eating just became so much. I didn't really have binge eating disorder anymore. I was eating in a healthy way, feeding my body what it needed. And a side effect of that was losing a whole lot of weight. And so I got down to pretty small. Immediately, I saw a boom in my popularity online. My followings grew exponentially. My photos were getting more likes. They were getting shared more. I showed up in more articles. I got more features. I got booked for more shows. I made more money. In general, the public received me better because I was smaller. And I even had a couple of people, one that I can remember in particular, come up to me at a show and be like, hey, since you lost that weight, you're doing really good, huh? Good job. And I just remember that being like a moment like, it shouldn't fucking be like that though. Like, I'm the same person that I was before. Like, it just blew my fucking mind. Like, that experience blew my whole fucking mind. And I tried to I was like, well, maybe it's just because I'm more confident now because I feel better. My mental health is better. Maybe that's showing through in my photos. And I kind of tried to diminish what was really going on, which was like, just I was now a part of the like accepted body class, right? It was now within the standards of what is considered conventionally attractive and therefore becomes popular. I think it's disingenuous. And first off, I do want to say, like, there's creators, the world has gotten much better. It's not great, got a lot to do, but in terms of body positively, like, there's so many incredible creators of all shapes and sizes now, and that's amazing. I still think we can do better though, because they still get fucking awful comments, and it's disingenuous to pretend like weight still doesn't play a part in popularity. The more fit you are, the thinner you are, the better you look in regard to traditional body standards, plays a huge role in your relevancy and popularity online. And so I'm watching my community talk about, and I've asked them if I can put up some of their comments or their pieces of blurbs of their conversation. So I'm going to include those on the screen somewhere for you guys to see. But there's so many people, so many, not just my pals in my Discord, all over the place, openly discussing how they have been made to feel less than, irrelevant, unimportant, not a part of the community, not worth, writing articles about. Like, their work didn't matter, the art they're creating didn't matter because of their weight. And that is fucking atrocious. But what is that they feel that way? But what's more atrocious and wildly disingenuous is people pretending like that's not a thing. They'll point to examples of plus size, famous or well-known cosplayers, influencers, creators, whatever, and be like, no, see, this isn't happening. There's always people who break the mold and get out of, what the societal norm is. But that doesn't change the fact that it's still happening. And if we pretend it's not, and we use the examples of people who have made it as like, see, it's not happening, those people are just being sensitive. No, it is happening. I have been there. And during 2020, I had a surgery. I had a breast augmentation. After that surgery, it took me a really long time to recover. It was, I can talk about my experience if you're interested, but it was not a good fucking time. And it was the pandemic, not doing a lot. I was like bedridden for quite some time. And I couldn't really be active anyway, so I started gaining weight again. I've had some thyroid problems over the last year, there's been a lot going on. So I started gaining some of that weight back. And I'm talking like 10 pounds, right? Nothing, not a hugely noticeable amount of weight. And yet I started getting those comments again, slowly, not necessarily fat, but like, ooh, looking thicker, you're gaining weight. Like, people are commenting on that. There was a marked slowdown in my growth and me being featured in online articles and things of that nature when that began. And I tried I love having conversations with myself and being very honest and just trying to figure things out, get to the bottom of things. So I was thinking like, well, my confidence has been shot because there's been a lot going on in our lives. That surgery really fucked me up, so maybe again, it goes back to that confidence just isn't showing through. I feel uncomfortable in my costume, so I'm not shooting as much, blah, 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 all of that. It's the pressure. That's what was fucking me up in a big way last year. I mean, other issues as well, I'm not disregarding those, but the pressure to lose that weight again. I body dysmorphia, if I had to categorize the main problem with my mental health, the main issue I am always working on and trying to resolve, the core issue, it's body image. And it always has been since I was a little girl. It's something that's why being comfortable enough to do like boudoir shoots and spicy shoots and lewd shoots is really important for me, because I never thought I would get to be that person. I always wanted to model. I always wanted to make beautiful artwork and sets. And I always wanted, once I got of age, of course, for some of those to be spicy, but I just never thought I would have the confidence to do that. And so it was such a huge milestone for me when I was able to. But why I kept going back to the confidence thing. Why is my confidence so ingrained with my body dysmorphia? And I know that that is true for a lot of people, but there's a community aspect to this. Part of it is that I lost weight, I boomed, I started gaining a bit of weight again, things slowed down. We can't pretend like that correlation doesn't exist. And that shoots your confidence down, especially as a full-time creator. That fucks with your confidence. You don't feel good in your costumes. You don't feel, it's just such a mess. Why are we so worried about people's bodies? You absolutely should not and do not really have to be a certain size to do anything. But the point remains that we still treat people this way. It's a fact. You get more opportunities and you just do better. You're more likely to do better if you are smaller. That's a problem. And pretending like that isn't happening because some plus size peeps made it doesn't mean shit, because most of the people who are doing well do look like me. And I mean in small, white, and blonde. Like, that's another discussion we can have. But right now, regarding the weight thing in particular, it's a fact of our community and other communities that are related to anything sort of like entertainment industry, making art with your body, where your body is on display, that the smaller you are, typically, the better you will do. And that's a problem. And so I've the problems here, I've experienced it. It's fucking awful. It's stressful and it's pressure and it fucks with your head, right? Okay, so how do we solve that problem, Sophie? Like most problems, it starts with each of us, right? So it starts with being kind, first off, being kind and courteous. It starts with lifting these people, lifting creators whose work we love, regardless of what they look like. If you see something and you love it, lift it up. If you see a fantastic costume and your first thought is, oh, that costume's beautiful, they look great, but they're overweight. Ooh, red flag. You, in that moment, is an opportunity for growth. Stop. When you say that in your head, stop, take a breath, and then think to yourself, why did I just think that? And you're gonna find that the problem is within, right? And you're projecting that onto other people, which is true about most things in life. When people are being rude to somebody about something and putting pressure on somebody about something related, especially to looks and your image, it usually comes from an insecure place within. But I know from experience, like, that doesn't make you feel any better. People can say that all day and all night, that like, oh, but they're just insecure with themselves. Okay, but now I'm also insecure, and they said that thing to me, and now it'll echo in my head at 5 a.m. for the next 12 years. The point is just that it is disingenuous to pretend that that's not happening. It's completely disingenuous to pretend like our community has already fixed that issue, because we haven't. So many incredible people out there who still feel not good enough, or like they don't belong, like they're not wanted, like because they feel that they are overweight or that their body doesn't fit into the standards. And that is happening. I have experienced it, not to the extent of some people. I'm just speaking of my own experience, and it's fucking awful. There has to be a way we can, there's so many potential solutions, but it's about action as well, right? So I would love to hear from you guys. What are some of your experiences, if you're comfortable sharing that? What are solutions that you either have implemented or wish the greater community would implement? Like, let's have a discussion about this. That's what I want to do with this YouTube channel moving forward. I definitely still want to do like small tutorials and show off my cosplay progress and things of that nature, but I just really enjoy discussing and like having discussions about what's going on in our community and what, I don't know. I just like talking to you guys about things and hearing how you guys feel. And so, yeah, tell me the things, tell me what you think. Tell me about your own experiences. I love you guys. We can fix all the things. There is a solution. We gotta take action. We can fucking do it.